Alright, Brandon, this is just the last little half of the video here that I'm going to do, where I'm going to show you how I actually cut the lace. So again, I'm doing this one-handed, so I'll have to put it down just for a second. But when I insert the lace, I actually just kind of trim one end a little bit, and I put it straight in between the razor blade and the guide, and make sure that if the strand folds, make sure that it folds kind of like that, so that way when it gets into the blade, it's going to catch. You'll kind of understand what I mean, and it'll take you some finicky to get it, but let me get this started and I'll show you. Alright, so the way that I have this here, once you get it in there, you can see here, once you get it in there, it starts cutting. It cuts nice and straight. Now you can see exactly where my thumb is. So normally when I'm cutting a set of strands, I will actually wrap my thumb in a Band-Aid. I just learned that because I cut myself multiple times using this method. There really is no guide that's stopping you. I actually tried growing my thumbnail out a little bit, thinking that would work, but then I actually just cut a big notch out of it. So it's better to just put a couple of Band-Aids or a couple of pieces of tape, put it, around your thumb there, and put one. Let's see, do this. This is difficult, but you can put like over top this way and then around it. Either way, that's what works best. And you can see here that it started cutting. This machine actually works fantastic. The reason why I'm trading this for the Bevins is that one, as you can see, it's a little bit more kind of difficult to just kind of get it going. With practice, it'll work out perfectly and easy. The angle that you want to pull your strand at is key. If you pull it too far this way, it'll kind of change the way that your strand is cutting. If you pull it too much that way, it might. So you kind of just have to tinker with it. But the big reason why I went with the Bevins is because it's got the beveler. I unfortunately don't have the patience to sit down with a sharp knife and bevel every single strand. It's just, I don't know if you've tried it yet, but it's a tedious thing. Kudos to all the guys who do it, just like all the guys who learn how to cut their strands from the hide with just a knife, like this here. I mean, hey, I'm happy for you. I'll bevel my my falls like this, but that's about all the patience that I have. Beveling, getting down. If you start thinking about like eventually making a 2mm lace or something like that, it's just not going to work. So let me go ahead and pull this through a little bit more real quick. Okay, so so the big key is making sure that you have enough pressure. Protect your thumb, like I said, and then from here you can just loosen this screw and move this up or down a little bit to widen or shorten. I did use this to taper all my strands. You can do that. It's definitely doable. I did the majority of my whips with all of the strands that I tapered. I did it with this, and in fact, when I first started, I was tapering as I went. So I would basically, here I have a belly of a whip that I'm working on. I would basically take this, and just like this, I'd take my forceps and I'd lock them in there real good and tight, not like these ones aren't. And then I would just take my whip out of the vise and I would walk it over there, and I would literally take these strands, just like this right here, and I'd pop them in just like that and taper it. And I would taper as I went. Blake Gorey encouraged me to try that. He said taper as you go at first, and then take notes and make measurements, or take measurements and make notes on when you're tapering, and then from there you can kind of do it ahead of time. And that's kind of what I started doing. Now I've gotten to the point to where I know, like, doing the math to figure out how far down the whip should I take another measurement for taper, and I can do it that way. But this machine definitely works great. Like I said, the big reason why I went with the Bevins is just because it's got the beveler on there, which I got mine and tried it out. It works perfectly, so you can kind of see the difference here. The Bevin's actually quite heftier, but yeah, man, I'll be sending this to you this morning. I gotta go take the kiddos to daycare. This is my day off to kind of hang out, make whips and things like that. So yeah, man, I hope you enjoy it. I'll send you all the pieces. It'll be in pieces when you get there, but it's pretty straightforward to put together. All right, bro.